And then when it's live, okay, now you are live. Tells me that you are now live. So that means my students are seeing me. Because my students can, I want to share the link to my students so that they can be able to see me from YouTube. Now what I do is, you click on share button here. You should be able to see the different options on where you can share the link for your students to be able to follow you. Now I'm just copying the link, and then I'm sharing this link with you all here on the chat so that you can be able to go and see me. All right, so I'm sharing on the chat here to everyone. And then let me know whether you can be able to, you click on the link and see whether you can be able to see me in the live mode. So I'm assuming you're my students and you are following the session. I shared you the live stream video. You should be able to see me, and then you should be able to see a chat where you can be able to post your questions. Just try to open the link. The moment you're in the link, I'll be able to see the numbers increasing here. So I see now there are 3 participants seeing me. I mean, the participants, you can be able to see the numbers will be increasing based on how you, I see people are starting to post in the chat here. Yeah, I can see Hussein Bakare, I can see Blessings, I can see Andrew Tete. Yeah, also. So can you post some of the questions in the chat? If you have any question, we can try to see how everything is rolling up. Just type something in the chat. So right now I see there are 26 participants viewing me from my live stream, YouTube live stream. So if I have a class of 100 students, they can all be able to join, and then I can be able to explain every concept to them. If they have questions from the course I had given them, I can also be able to respond to the questions as well. And therefore, it becomes something like an interaction where my students can be able to see me, and I can also be able to respond to the questions as well. Yeah, so I see now there are 29 participants seeing me from their ends, from their YouTube, I mean, from the link. And then I can see also, yeah, so I see, yeah, they are commenting on the link. So can you post any question on the chat? The share before you went live, is it the same? So someone, Raymond is asking, the share before you went live, is it the same? You have to get a webcam before you do a live session. So, all right. So you need to have a webcam, and normally your webcam, we use the integrated webcam into your computer. So if your computer does not have a webcam, what you do is you can buy an external webcam and then plug it into your USB port, and then you should be able to be seen from. As long as you have configured it well and it works well from other platforms, then it should be easier for everyone to be able to see you and be able to use it. Is this application free? Yeah. Sure. Yeah, at the same time, I see a lot of questions from the chat. We can respond to a few of them after Felis has spoken. Mhm. All right. So with YouTube channel, the intention of YouTube channel is basically on what you call one-way communication. It's more of asynchronous communication than synchronous. That means it's more of you seeing us. I mean, students seeing me than me seeing them. I don't see them. It's not like in Zoom where I can be able to see all of you. But in YouTube channel is that I assume that you're all there because I can see you from the chat how you're responding. But at the same time, it's not easy for me to be able to share. I mean, a presentation or anything like presentation. The main target of using YouTube channel is to be able to have something of an interaction where you are like talking one to one. At the same time, no need of presenting something. And therefore, the big issue here is to respond to the questions that come from your students. And in most cases, we use YouTube channel when we have, for example, I have a 6-week online course, and then maybe I put in between, after the second week, I put a live interaction where I come to respond to questions that come from my students. And then in the end of fourth week, again, small live interaction for 30 minutes or 1 hour to respond to questions that have come from the 2 weeks where my students were actually working on the online course. And then at the end of the course and at the end of the 6 weeks, I put a live interaction like this one, where I just want to interact with my students and see the experiences at the end of the course. So there is no need of presenting your slide here. It's only you speaking to your students normally. That is the difference between a YouTube live stream and a live stream and a Zoom session. Uh-huh. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Right. Mhm. Right. Even here, when we are talking, because I have put this channel on, that means it's being recorded. You know, YouTube is using cloud, and therefore everything is being recorded right now. So the moment I end up my live stream here, the video will be stored on YouTube servers, and it will be available to your students. So you have options. When I stop this video, you have two options. Do you want to retain this video? Do you want to delete it? So if I don't want this to happen in my YouTube channel because it's just my warm-up session, I just delete it because I think my students will not need this. It was just the basics. And if I think this session was interesting for my students and it would be helping them, then I just say, yeah, save it. It will go directly to my YouTube channel and then it will be saved there. So it will be saved by the name you have given. I said it was Lab 7, something. That name will be shown onto a YouTube channel and students can be able to access it from anywhere, anytime because it's available on the platform. I hope I responded to your question. Sure, thanks. Uh-huh. Yeah. So yeah, there is an echo. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fast. Okay. Mhm. Uh-huh. Mhm. Uh-huh. Yeah. Um, all right. All right. Please. All right. So yeah, thank you so much for the good questions. Uh, all right. All right. So yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Makuku, for responding. So basically, that is the answer. It depends on how what the setting you have put. Is it private? Is it public? Is it unlisted? So if it is public, that means anyone can be able to access it. If it is unlisted, that means someone with a link will be able to access it. If it is private, that means it's only for selected individuals. Selected individuals. That's all. So it depends on the setting. Second question is on the subscribe part. So subscription, I mean, the subscribe button will allow you to be able to get many followers. That means because we said in the beginning that while we are creating YouTube channels, we are also creating a community of learners, community of followers who will be following you up. The subscribe button is for everyone who wants to be able to receive updates. Everyone wants to be able to follow up your work that is going on. Updates. Everyone wants to be able to follow up your work that is going on. You click on the subscribe button and you become part of the community or part of the network to that particular channel. That's the meaning of subscribe. And that's why whenever you see someone saying subscribe to my channel, that means he's looking for people who will be following up his channel. And of course, in the process, as you keep on, if you have a channel that is having a lot of participants, maybe 2,000, 10,000 students, participants, for example, there will be what you call monetization. There will be some income generation activities that will happen, and Google will tend to give you money based on the subscribers and based on the number of, videos we are uploading. I didn't like to go into the part of monetization because it's not part of us. And what I wanted to focus is on our students and the amount of students you have in the course. That's all. And then, okay, another question was, is the video going to remain public? Yeah, the fees. So there is no fees. So YouTube is free to everyone. You can be able to upload videos any number of times. If even though you can be able to upload many times, you are also contributing something to YouTube because they're also making business. If you are attracting a lot of customers, a lot of followers, that means on your video there will be some what you call adverts from different companies, and therefore Google will also be earning, and also you'll also be earning, and therefore to cut it short, there is no fee that you pay. It's only uploading and then sharing, uploading and sharing. Thank you. I hope that was clear. Yeah, so you can use the same Google account. So like for myself here, I'm using my own Google account to be able to stream even this session. So your own Google account is enough to be able to create your YouTube channel. But then what you have to do is to change the name of your channel accordingly. Maybe you could say your channel name is maybe the name of your course, or the name, it will bear the name of what the content will be following up. That is what is important. But otherwise, the same email can be used for your channel. All right. Okay. So I think, Dr. Mark, we can proceed to Facebook. The others, you want to finish? Ah, yes. Sure. Sure. Oh, all right. So the moment you create a new channel, what you have to do is you configure it for live interaction. So there will be, on the tab where you have different settings, you can, excuse me, you can be able to you set it up as a channel that will be used for live interactions as well. You can also be able to set it up as a channel that will be used for monetization. You can also be able to set it as a channel that will be used for educational purposes. So there are a lot of settings you need to make. I'll be able to explain later on when I repeat the same session, because there is one participant who said we need to repeat the same steps slowly. Towards the end, we have that session to repeat everything. Some 15 minutes towards the end, we should be able to work on that. You'll be able to see. Okay. Okay. So, okay. I hope that is okay. So, okay. From there, I can see my students on the chat here. There were some of the students who were asking some questions. Does this live session have a time limit while engaging online? No. So as long as you're online, you can go even 2 hours, 3 hours, and then be able to stop. So there is no limit like 40 minutes or 1 hour. You can be able to go all the way as much as you want. It's only that it's taking up your bandwidth. Because it's internet based, and therefore it will be consuming internet resources. It depends. You have to make sure that you have a stable internet connection. Yeah, so I think this is the question that came from the discussion forum. All right. So I'm going to stop this, and then we are moving to the next part. Okay. So now All right. Thank you, Prof, for the question. So there is a difference in terms of how we manage each of the tools. For example, when we use Zoom, first of all, it's limited. In most cases, some of the teachers might not be having a subscription, and therefore it will be limited for them. For example, a free Zoom session with a free account is only limited to 40 minutes. So let me say I have a class of 1 hour or 1 hour and 20 minutes. That means my students will not be able to go because after the 40 minutes it will be disconnected. But with YouTube channel, you can be able to go as many hours as you want because there is no limitation in terms of time. But again, the other limitation of YouTube is that with YouTube, students will be able to see you. You will not be able to see them, but you'll be able to interact in the live chat. Just like you have in Zoom, you have a live chat where your students will be able to participate in terms of us posting questions, because you cannot be able to respond to all the questions at one time, but at least they can be able to post their questions on the chat. You can also be able to respond. And again, the only feature that is missing on YouTube is that your students will not be able to speak up. You won't be able to hear them. They will only be able to respond via chat. This is the option that is available to YouTube or to Zoom. But the only other limitation with Zoom is that the free account or free version of Zoom is only limited to 100 participants and for 40 minutes. But with YouTube channel, I can extend even to 200 students, 300 students. There is no limitation. And then there is no time limitation as well. No limitation in terms of students joining, no limitation in terms of time being used for the session. So these are the basic features. But for you, if you think you are strong enough and you have, your institution has a Zoom that is paid for, then it becomes much more easier to use Zoom session than using YouTube. But another feature or advantage of using YouTube Live is that all the chats that your students will be posting or questions will be stored because they'll be saved as comments. But in Zoom, if you don't save, the moment you close the session, your chats will be lost. You won't be able to see the conversations that you have had with your students. So these are at least some of the differences and comparisons between the two platforms. Huh. Yeah. So if it's yeah. So if you want to create some collaborative activities or you want to see some group work from your students, so you would better go for Zoom. Zoom is better for using these particular features. But for YouTube, you don't have features for sharing screen and don't have features for participants to be able to speak. Thank you so much. So should we proceed, Dr. Makuku? Should we move on to the next session? Okay. So I'm moving on to the next session. This session is Oh, right. All right. Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you. so much, Adewumi, for your question. So it is possible that you can delete your videos or anything that you have uploaded. As long as you are the one who has uploaded the content on YouTube, you can be able to delete it. Again, you can also be able to change the settings depending on what you want, from private to public. So even if the video has been public for the past 10 days or 1 week or 1 month, you can also be able to change the setting to make it private or public or unlisted, depending on what you want to do. So it's all possible. I think I will be able to show this when we repeat again quickly. We repeat this quickly again. Okay. All right, sure. Okay. All right, sure.